Friends are a big reason why mountain biking is so fun.
Good job, dude. That's so good.
Sure, going out on a solo ride is a good time, but sharing the stoke of a ride with a friend is the way to go. To help with progression, they can tow you into big features. Or you can do the same for them. If they're faster than you can try to see what makes them so fast by trying to keep up. And if you eat it, they can scrape you off the mountain. But in the end, it's just about getting out there for a ride with a buddy. But I haven't been able to ride with a lot of my old friends in some time. And really, that's my fault. Ever since we quit our day jobs and moved into our van to become full-time YouTubers, Yuka and I have been living life on the road. For most of the year, we're far away from Vancouver, where most of our old friends live. So when my old friend James said he had plans to visit Revelstoke to do some riding, I was eager to make it work. So, Yuka and I headed out to meet James, Emily, and their dog Chester in Revelstoke, BC. Our plan for the day was to do some shuttle laps on Boulder Mountain. For our first trail, James and I decided to head down the Double Black Trail Bike Club. We had raced it back in 2017, but not the top section we were dropping into. It seems a lot of people don't ride this part actually, maybe because of the tricky section in the middle.
Oh, this is interesting. I think I can roll off this though. This is quite the step.
Chester, stay.
You don't like the noise I made? Chester, you're really not helping my confidence here, buddy. Ew. Man, these moths everywhere.
These moths have been all over BC this summer. They're called looper moths, and every 11 to 15 years they have an outbreak. And I guess they decided that 2020 was their time to shine.
It's these moths. I came through here and I just destroyed them all. And they're just like, Chester. Chester. Cool.
James and I had both ridden this part of the trail before during that race I mentioned earlier.
They're techie. Rocks.
But now, there's a new optional line.
Oh. This wasn't here before.
Yeah, we rode this in July.
Was it good?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's probably better to go right. Watch out, Chester.
Chester, what's it?
Yeah, it's pretty chill.
After Bike Club, we dropped into Boondocker, which is another trail I'd ridden before as well. But the builders out here in Revelstoke have been busy, with a new feature over a boulder.
Oh yeah, the new feature. I've seen this on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
I run right into that without looking at it.
I'd seen it on the internet. Yeah, on the internet.com.
Yuka was a little more cautious than me.
I think it's not that bad, but you say there's a compression that makes me nervous.
But in the end, it wasn't a problem for her either.
Oh, cheater! Almost saw.
James had seen this feature earlier in the year though, and it really got into his head back then. But I know he's got this. I've seen him ride much more difficult features in the past.
The rock roll doesn't screw me up the wall right there.
Oh, you're fine. Just ride it like a berm.
Nice.
What followed were a couple of low-angle jumps. The first was a gap, and the second was a wooden tabletop. but the drop after kind of messed with me.
Well, that's kind of big.
The landing seemed, to me at least, kind of flat, which would result in a harsh landing. After a few more attempts at it, I just wasn't feeling it, and we moved on.
I wish I had something to follow.
Maybe something a friend can tow me into on another day?
I went down, the landing wasn't as flat as I thought it was.
Would you try it 3 times? That's it.
More than 3.
At the bottom of the mountain were a couple of drops.
Oh yeah, these. Cool.
A small one and a big one. Great for working on progression. The big hole behind them is intimidating, but it's best not to think about that.
Yeah, it's like maybe 4 feet.
I was keen to do the larger one, and for James and Yuka to do the smaller one. But we'd be back through here later in the ride. On our next lap up the mountain, we hit up a trail called Gravy Bacon. And it seemed to have received the same treatment as Boondocker. A whole bunch of new stuff had been built. The first of which was a drop. Though it was relatively small, I needed to go into it with decent speed, or else suffer a hard flat landing. Which is exactly what I did on my first go around.
I could go a little further. I think I landed right here. But I want to land a bit there.
My second attempt went better, and James was able to follow me in as well. But soon things ramped up steeply with a set of 3 drops, each bigger than the last.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Holy crap. And then look at that wall ride.
The end of it? That's near the wall right in it too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll all work with me, so.
that's really cool. Okay, I guess I'll do this one. This one is a little intimidating.
The middle one was fine for Yuka and I, but the shark fin after it, not so much.
I sent too much speed. Yeah. Like I used the brake before that too, but still. I sent it really deep, honey. What?
This is cool.
I know, but
It's not all that different from the one we built on Stone Starlet earlier this summer. And I imagine this one works pretty similarly, but I think I'd need a friend to tow me into this one, as the potential of coming up short had me nervous.
Someone did something there.
After a bit more trail, we had arrived back at those progression drops at the bottom of the mountain.
The small one is so chill. Like the big one's gonna be the same.
I really wanted to get the big one, but also for James and Yuka to do the small one. But first, the big one.
It's good. I almost landed too deep, maybe?
As it turns out, if you can do the small one, the big one is basically the same.
James, you want to follow me on the small one?
Like the rock feature earlier, I know he's done bigger features before, so I encouraged him to go for it.
You got it. It's just like, it's a mind game with the gap here, but like, you have to be going really slow to fall in the gap. Okay, so I'm just gonna creep up to this bump and I'm gonna let go of the brakes. So I can probably track stand, and then let go. Yeah, you're good.
Sorry?
You have all the skills for it.
I know I do. I just haven't been doing it.
I know, I'm just, I'm telling you things you already know, but you need to hear.
I know, you're right.
And eventually, he was convinced enough to huck his meat.
Nice.
that was good.
Perfect.
Awesome. Let's go. There's still a bigger one here.
And Yuka has definitely done much bigger than this too, though sometimes it's just about the mindset.
Gambarimasu, you've done drops way bigger than this.
It's just the motivation. Like motivation.
Oh yeah? Oh, so it's easy for you, huh?
No, I mean the mental mindset.
Yeah. Just do like James. If you go to the edge here and just let go of the brakes, you're gonna have more than enough speed. Yeah.
Landing is good?
Yep.
Bye bye.
All right.
And success. This is the kind of stuff friends can do for you. If James and Yuka had been riding on their own, there's a good chance they'd roll right past these drops without giving them a chance.
Yeah. Nice.
But with a friend around to encourage them to give it a try, they were able to progress as a rider. I know that had been the case for me with Antoine. Since I trusted him, he was towing me into crazy stuff all summer. But our lives on the road has made it harder to stay connected with old friends. Of course, Yuka and I always have each other, and traveling with Antoine and Isabel all summer has been great as well. But to be honest, living life in the public eye can be kind of isolating. So it's important for us to hold on to those old friends. After all, they know us the best. They know our weaknesses and our strengths, and we know theirs. It's okay to have a bad day around them, and vice versa. So James, even though I broke my wrist on our ride the next day, and it's all your fault, it was good riding with you again. Let's do it again sometime. As for that broken wrist, some bad news. I went to the doctor expecting them to tell me it was healed and that I could ride again. It had been over 6 weeks in the cast after all. Well, unfortunately the opposite was the case. A new x-ray showed that my scaphoid basically hadn't healed at all, which really sucks. So that means it'll be more time off the bike. On a similar note, many of you have been asking about my trail build, Stone Starlet. The plan was to get back to work on it right about now, but that's gonna have to wait as well. And since snow will soon be here, I might have to wait until the spring to get back to it, unfortunately. But don't worry, I haven't forgotten about it and I'm committed to finishing it. It's just that sometimes life gets in the way. But as always, thanks for watching and stay gnarly.